people than I'm used to. It's so great to be here. Thanks to the Dash team for setting this up. I'm nervous and excited to be the first speaker here, but we're kicking this off. We're getting going. So a little bit about me. I am the executive producer for Golden Wolf New York, but I've actually been a part of the creative world for my whole life. I'm the fourth generation of my family to work in the commercial arts. My great-grandfather was a typesetter. My grandfather had an advertising agency. Both my parents worked as graphic designers there. And my dad is an illustrator and a cartoonist. So I grew up going to gallery shows, helping out, working with all of the artists and spending time with them. We would go to cartoonist festivals. And I really grew up feeling like artists were a part of my extended family. And now as a producer, being able to work with artists and be a part of this team, that perspective is so important to the work that I do as a producer. And so today I'm going to talk about how we work as a team at Golden Wolf and the importance of really everyone in the process. It's so easy to look at this work and to look at the names who are the biggest on the credit list. But there's a lot of people at Golden Wolf who contribute to that work, and I'm excited to chat about them. These are some of our team. So at Golden Wolf, we operate a studio model, and what that means is that every project that we release is produced and directed by Golden Wolf. Not by one of our directors, not by a producer, but by the studio as a whole. Because so often, we're working across many different projects, people are jumping in whenever they're needed, and we want to all share in that glory, and we share in the challenges. And there's a few ways that we go about doing that, but really there's so many people that come together for this process. I'm just one person here on stage, but the reality is there's a lot of people who make our work possible. From our clients who pay us to make cartoons, the reps that are bringing us that work, the freelancers that come in to support us, and the staff artists who actually make it all possible. Our output really relies on a whole community of people coming together. And sometimes that can feel like a Rube Goldberg machine. All of these different pieces, you really hope that they're working. That's part of my job to try and figure out. And we have a few principles that we use to guide our approach and that we consider every time we're getting started on a new project. These are kind of our general rules for working together. And the first is there's no room for egos. Because our portfolio is the product of a collective effort, really, we have a ton of people who need to come together. And if we have one person who's there making a big stink, it doesn't work out so well. And while our directors bring the vision and cohesion to the creative process, it's really the team as a collective that make the work as good as it winds up being. So even projects that just have one artist still need a producer to manage that workflow. We still need a studio manager to make sure that we've got electricity on at the office. We need a tech team making sure that our computers work and we have all of the software that we need. This invisible labor that you can't see in the final renders is still so important to the final process. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of those teams. Production. Personally, I think we have the most fun. I mean, come on, right? But really, our job is to support and protect the creative process. We're here to strategize and organize and communicate and translate, and we make more schedules than I ever thought possible. But so often, the work really isn't that glorious. We have our team of production assistants, including Danny, who's here. They're tasked with managing our files and dealing with contracts for freelancers and all of these things that aren't as nice as a style frame in the behind-the-scenes work, but they're all what makes it possible. And as the producers, we also have to balance this need between upholding the creative process and maintaining a structure. And that can be a real challenge to manage. So when we're able to work together as a team and collaborate and feel like we're important to the process, that really makes us feel like we can do so much more together than individually. And on a creative level, our storyboarders are the ones who form the foundation of our work. We work with some really incredible artists who form the basis from which everything else develops. And while you won't see these frames in the final product, the base of them is always there, and they are the scaffolding upon which we can build the rest of our work. And we really try and bring attention to those artists. So actually this first piece here is one of a social projects that we released, but it came from one of our storyboard artists, and she would make these amazing animatics, and we wanted to really share those with the world, so we made a whole little animated piece, and we've actually gotten client projects off the base of this work, and kind of revealing that background behind the scenes. And our designers, who are defining the visual style for so much, they have to consider the motion of work that's not actually moving. They're working across many different mediums and styles, and their vision is what brings out the final product and gives us that workflow to proceed with. And so these two spots were actually the result of some really tight timelines. We didn't have enough animators available, so we roughed out a basic animation and gave it to our designers, and every designer did a different frame, resulting in an animated piece at the end. And of course, our animators, I mean, the work speaks for themselves. It's amazing. Their execution is what brings our concept to the next level. And it can range from just one animator working to a team of 20 or more. All of those people have to work together in coordination, and it's their understanding of physics and motion that brings things to life. They can translate effects and characters and storytelling into this visual medium, and we rely on them so much to bring this excitement to the work. But I think most of all, some of the unsung heroes of the process are our compositing team. They take on so much responsibility for the final product, and they're often the ones pulling the late nights at the end, dealing with the technical issues, the endless renders that fail, and they're finding solutions to problems that no one else will ever see. But as a producer, I rely on them every day to get stuff done and help me out in so many different ways. And when we set up a structure that doesn't value one individual over the success of the whole, we're also trying to open up opportunity for new ideas to come through. We know that our success lies in every member of our team feeling like they have the space and the trust to do their best, and the room to bring their expertise to play. And I think that space, that trust, is really what brings our work to the next level, and that ties in with our second principle, which is that good ideas can come from anywhere. And so I'm one of those producers with a lot of creative ideas, so I really like this one. I butt in all the time with my ideas about what I think could work, and sometimes it does actually spark a new idea or a new direction that the team might not have considered. And just having the openness for these conversations generates its own kind of momentum to create something unexpected. This piece right here was something that was a project that came in and was designed by an intern. And she had created a couple of sketches that we saw, and we were really excited about it. And so she became the design lead for the project. She'd been with us for only a couple of weeks, but she had the vision, she had the good ideas, and so we wanted to let her run with it. And I just love that about our process, is that we're not limited to the hierarchy. We're looking to just find excitement in new ways. And we do this in a few different ways. So the first one is our inspiration decks. So every new starter at the studio makes an inspiration deck. And this document is really a window to get to know their interests. It can be their inspirations, it can be something from their background, maybe some hidden talents. And we love this as a way to get to know our new coworkers and really understand what they're interested in outside of animation. And that actually comes into play in the projects themselves. And so when I know what my team are excited about doing, I know that they're going to bring that passion to the projects we're working on. So I know that our creative director, Sammy, loves basketball. So when we have a basketball project, I'm pulling him in. I know that Carl makes music. So when we have a project that needs some music, maybe we'll give him the chance to try that. Cesar loves his punk rock. If we ever get some punk rock inspired projects, I want to put him on that. Because when we're connected to the work personally, we're going to bring something extra. And it's also just going to be way more fun. And we also try and do this with our social projects. We spend a lot of time developing new content for no one else but us. And this is a space for us to explore new concepts, things that our clients would never pay us to do, but we want them to eventually. It's our creative playground, and it's a space where we can try things that we've not been able to do before, or we just want to see how we can do it in a different way. So these characters were the result of a commission from Giphy to create a series of GIFs. We not only developed these characters, but also tons of expression GIFs, and we were having so much fun with it that we thought this could become something more. So we've been developing these into a full IP. And we made this little animation for the crew, just for fun. It's something that we love to do, and we're going to keep working on and keep exploring these characters and the storytelling in different ways. And sometimes we'll make social work for popular events or new things coming up, and this is a piece that we did for the Olympics back in 2018. And I love these. These are just silly things. We're just having fun here. Yeah. And sometimes we make actual things, too. So we've been doing, for the past couple of years, a series of swag campaigns, and this is really just a chance for us to explore what our vision looks like outside of the moving picture. So this was from our ritual ceremony campaign, and we also, of course, made an animation to go with it. And we're continuing to explore what that might look like. This year, we went down a trippier route. So for this year, we actually made incense for our swag. Why not? In the past, we've also made a magic 8-ball. Who knows? What's going to be next? We're going to keep exploring and developing. And every time, we're going to translate this in different ways. So we'll do still images, we'll do animations, we'll explore what a t-shirt design or a tote bag or all of these different explorations, how they can come together. And this is the piece that we made for this one. Yeah. And ultimately, we're making these things for us so that we have a space to explore something new. And we look to all of our team to bring ideas to the table. And we try to spread it around. So sometimes it's designers developing their new concepts. Sometimes it's animators who are designing for the first time. And it's such a fun way to see what else people can bring to the table. This was what we did for our 7-year anniversary, some really gorgeous portraits of all of the team. But with under 25 people across both our New York and London studios, we really rely on a bank of freelancers to achieve our output. And that's why we want to let experts be experts. When we're bringing in people to join us, to work with us, we want them to bring their perspective to the table. And we see them as experts in their field, so we don't want to micromanage what they're doing when they come in. What we're trying to do when we bring on new artists is channel our vision through their expertise and their knowledge. So we love working with artists who come in and receive a brief, but maybe they suggest something different or push things in a different direction and try something different. Our most successful freelance relationships are when our artists and our producers feel empowered to bring their knowledge to play and to suggest new ways of doing things. Because just because it's how we've always done it or how we've always approached it doesn't mean that that's the best way to do it or that we can't continue to improve. And the great opportunity of working with freelance artists and people from all different areas is that they're going to bring new perspectives to the table and give us something new that we would never have considered before. And we love that those conversations just open up new directions that we would never have considered otherwise. So this was one project that was a wild ride. We had 4 weeks. It came in the week before Christmas, and our staff wasn't available. So we really wanted to make it happen. So we reached out to a number of different artists, and we had one freelancer who came up available, and he joined this ride with us. It was an intense production, but we knew that in order to make it all work, we just needed to hold hands and leap into it together. And we really value that investment when an artist will come in and join us for a project, and we try to consider that as we're looking for future projects. So I'm going to play this one and talk a little bit more about it after. So we had 4 weeks to do that one, but we actually animated all in a week because it kept changing throughout the process so many times that we wound up only having 5 days to animate the whole piece. And our freelancer, Noel, joined us and brought his knowledge on. And this was a project we took on because we were excited about it, didn't have a huge budget, and he joined us with that same perspective. And since then, we've tried to bring him back and work with him in new ways to kind of repay that debt and remember that he joined us for something challenging and made the best of it. And we owe it to the people who give us their time and dedicate their holidays and their weekends to work with us, to remember that investment and share when we do have better budgets and when we do have better timelines, bring those people on and try and make up for the past. And I'm just calling out one freelancer here, but that's true of all of the people that we work with. They join us and they share their knowledge, their expertise, and we remember those relationships. And we love working with people who love working with us and join us and feel like they're really part of the crew. It's not a transaction for us. When you're joining and working with us as a freelancer, you're part of the crew, and that's that. You're always going to be part of the crew. But really, the visuals are only half of the puzzle. We need so many other partners to bring their expertise to bring things to life. And this project is a great example of letting experts be experts. We were tasked with producing an animation that could be segmented into lots of different GIFable spots. So for Mirinda, we developed a campaign that really captured flavor. And it was so much fun to animate, but it really needed that next level. And it's the audio that really elevates this piece. That's And Food, and Wilson's here. You'll hear from him tomorrow. We love working with And Food because they do exactly that. They are the experts in the audio field, so when they're going to work with us on a project, we want to let them go. We want them to have free reign in the same way that we love having free reign. And we look for all different partners who can do that across many different avenues. Audio is one of them, but we're always looking for the people who are passionate about their subject to bring that to us. And that's part of what our resourcing team does. This is a crew of people that includes our producers, our production assistants, our creative resourcing managers, who are the ones reaching out to you, asking you if you're available all the time. We're sending hundreds of emails when we're really desperate, and it takes days and weeks to find the right people to bring on for the projects. So when we're reaching out and we're booking somebody in, it's only after this whole period, this whole process of curation to find the right people. And that ties in with letting experts be experts, because we've done the work of finding those people, and to bring them in and then not give them the space to explore would be missing the opportunity. Curated teams with people who are here because they belong here, we want them to have the space to share their perspective. And there's really an art to finding the right combination of distinct voices, reliable process, great communication, and bringing everyone together. And our resourcing team are really the people who make that all possible. But they're not the ones that are going to make it onto the credit list, because they're working across so many different projects. And they really are an important foundation to the possibilities that we have as a crew. And ultimately, we're all in this together. We share a common goal. When we set up our projects as a collective work, it not only gives us a space to share in the glory, to be here on stage, but we're also there for the challenges. And it means that we all jump in when there's a challenge or there's a problem. The number of times I've done scratch VO or set off renders, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm gonna try and do it, because we're all trying to figure it out together and find a good solution. And when the lines of responsibility can bleed a little, when one of us needs an extra hand, that's okay, because at the end of the day, we all wanna make the best animation, the best product at the end of the day. And we'll do everything we can to make that happen. So, I hope I've convinced you that we're a perfectly oiled machine, that everything works completely smoothly and we're super efficient all the time. But really, it's a work in progress. There's always ways of improving. These tenets, these principles that we hold on to are guides, but we always have to do work in making sure there's space for people who might not feel comfortable speaking up to share their ideas in different avenues, in different ways. And that's work that we're continuing to do. And we're continuing to look for new people to work with and to expand our community of freelancers and artists. And we have a lot of goals to do that. And I'm very excited to keep growing our team in Golden Wolf, New York. And I'm very excited to meet all of you and hopefully continue to work together as a team, all here. So thank you very much.